Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Cape Rugby TV. It's Wednesday night and finally we're getting into the action again. I'm so excited. I've been a little bit worried about all of you disappearing off the face of the planet because we haven't had any rugby fixtures. Well, in fact, we did manage to find those rugby fixtures. They were happening in all the other different leagues where people don't tend to look very much, where we suppose we should probably be looking more often. The Reserve League, the Women's League, and so forth. Anyway, so games are back on. The draw's been done for the City Northern and Southern League, and at least we now see exactly what's happening shape-wise in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. To tell me more about that on the show this evening, Morgan Newman. Hello, Morgan.
How's it, James? Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
I haven't seen you for 7 days. You are?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Got happy with our result we got over the weekend, so yeah, can't complain, and all is well in club rugby.
You enjoy your lunch today?
Yes, it was. Thank you very much. I must say your cooking skills when the wife's away is not too bad. So, quite full for lunch. Thanks.
And from Western Province Rugby, and of course Kales River, Lionel Langehoven. Lionel, gaan met jou?
Goed, JP.
Lang overdue dat ons jou hier kry.
Dit is lekker. Ek moet werk aan my wisselskills, né?
So ja, nee, julle word nou almal gegroom vir die groot commentating jobs. Daai is emerging team. Julle ons gaan nou 'n bietjie vorentoe. Dit begin nou.
Ja, JP is baie stadig. Is eintlik bietjie frustrerend vir ons. Ons het 'n trial game gehad by City Park. Vroeër die maand, 2 oefeninge reeds gehad.
Ja.
Spelers
ons sal naby uitkom in 'n minuut. En dan ook saam met ons mense, JG Gilomeer, die kaptein van Hamilton. Hallo JG.
Maar hoe gaan dit?
Nee, dit gaan goed. We gaan met jou.
Lekker. Kan nie op ons maal na die naweek nie.
Ek is seker of ek met jou met Afrikaans of Engels praat nie.
Jou keuse.
My choice. I like it when it's my choice. All right, folks, let's get straight stuck into it. We were, of course, over the weekend to watch Wraithby up against Epsiode. That was at Wraithby. We will show you some of the highlights, some of the captains and coaches' interviews from Wraithby in a couple of minutes' time. But before we do that, let's take a look at some of the results from the weekend. Super League A was, of course, back in action, as were some of the other games. False Bay, 24-39. They went down to Hamilton's, and then Helderberg drawing with Belhar, 20-all. Now, that's a bit of a surprise. Not often that we see draws, and I'm pretty sure Helderberg would be happy with that result, and Belhar will be rather unhappy with that result, but we'll talk about that in a sec. Hamilton's, considering that we've got the captain of Hamilton's here with us tonight, let's move straight into that discussion. Yehia, 39-24 over False Bay. I hear two things. I hear that it wasn't as easy as what the score looks, and then I hear that you guys had an enormous amount of fans at the game.
Yeah, obviously it's a derby, and the boys knew it was going to be a hard game. They had a big pack, and they came out first. It was basically a top of the league game to get to the top of the league, and boys stuck into it, and I think they came back half time. They had a big onslaught on us, so they gave us a big run for our money. They got the bonus point. But the boys got stuck in, and we capitalized on the mistakes. So yeah, and I think just the fact that we've been playing for quite a while, and our fitness came through, especially at the last end. I think both teams were very tired.
Yeah.
But I think we came up top on that department. So yeah, hard game, tough game, and still sore.
Morgs, do you think, when people look at these games, you don't really think of Hamilton's and False Bay as a derby. You kind of think Villages, Hammies as a derby, UCT Marties as a derby. Has the leagues changed that much now that we are starting to see these new matchups in rugby, that there are new teams coming to the fore that are derby matches?
Yeah, look, I think it's derbies for different reasons. I think it's a derby now because it's two great clubs with a great history and heritage, and the fact that it's a sort of they both fighting for the Community Cup spot. It becomes the niggles there, and the week leading up to the game, it was extremely there's a lot of banter and a lot of chat. So I think it gets built up to be a derby, and rightly so. With the turnout that there was in Constantia on Saturday. It was definitely one of the bigger games that I've played in this year, and just happy to get the result at the end of it, I think.
Do you get some chirps on the social media space there, Morgs?
No, look, we do. There is an extreme amount of banter. I mean, Hamilton's profile is quite active, and so is False Bay's, and and obviously all the fans that go with it is lots of chat, and before the game kicked off. So
Yeah.
we definitely had one to go out and prove a point, and I think we did on Saturday.
Did they go headhunting for the famous Morgan Newman?
Look, I don't think if they went heading for me alone, I think they would have. There's 14 other oaks that are a lot, that are also out there to prove a point. So if they went headhunting for me alone, I think they would have been in a bit of trouble.
Right. Probably need to take a lesson then out of the leaf of SK Women's book. If they're going to go Morgan Newman headhunting.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right thing to say.
Because they've got the measurement right.
Yeah, no, they happen to. I feel like they're all going for me playing against SK. Thankfully against Falls Bay, I think a lot of the other oaks were taking a flack, and the Cappy took a lot of flack. So yeah,
Cappy was up front. I see Cappy's got a bit of a head scar there. Jy het bietjie van 'n koppestamp in die game, of was dit by practice?
Nee, dat is deel van die game geweest. Obviously is daar moes maar altyd 'n bietjie niggles. Jy moes maar jou punt bewys.
Maar daar is natuurlik wat in die skram gebeur het, soos julle twee voories nou by mekaar mee gegaan het.
Ja, ek moet jou eerlikwaar sê, ek het nie idee waar hy vandaan kom. Ek weet nie, die Sondagoggend ook opgestaan het, was hy daar.
Hy's net daar, so
Hy is net daar.
so dit kon na die game ook gebeur het.
Nee. Ons het onsself gedra na die game.
Lionel, let's bring you into the picture here. You were kind of nodding your head when I spoke about the fact that there are new teams now with new derbies. We're definitely seeing more matchups now, that teams that maybe didn't play against each other before, this new league structure, and we just spoke about it earlier on about Brackenfell and Hands and Hearts. They're up against each other this weekend.
I think JP is more about strength versus strength. It's coming into the equation. And I spoke to Mox off air that I wasn't surprised that Hemis won the game, because Hemis got a better decision makers in crucial positions, and they're more matured when it comes to get away out of crucial situations in a game when things are going well. So I wasn't surprised at all, and it's actually good for Hemis going forward.
Like jy hierdie strength versus strength format?
Ja, verskriklik.
Dit
Verskriklik, ja. Spanne vorm hulle eie ligas in 'n liga. As dit so goed gaan nie, dan vorm jy maar jou eie liga en jy raak kompeterend, en dan span dit goed voor.
En dis eintlik nou, jy weet, 'n paar mense was bietjie negatief oor hierdie 15-man format, 15 span format. Ek's nog steeds bietjie 50-50 op hierdie een, but it's that you talk about now, that we're starting to get to that strength versus strength. I mean, now we're going to see it in the city, southern and northern, and as well as in the Paarl region. It's definitely going to be strength versus strength. We've been debating this for a long time now, and I think this is what you're talking about, is now we're going to see more of these derby matches, these top teams coming up head to head. They're going to attract a massive amount of fans. There's going to be a lot of attention before the game. Coaches are really going to take it very seriously.
JP, there's such a lot of lessons to be learned from this league this year. Players need to learn about conditioning, take it serious. You play Super A, the guys are more business-like, if you can call it like that. Clubs don't take anything for granted, and if you miss one chance in this league, you can't.
Yeah,
so you've got to take it serious here.
With both hands. So, folks, it looks like this 15-man, or at least I keep saying that, this 15-team format is starting to pay off. The derby matches are starting to come out, and we're certainly now starting to see those strength versus strength. But, you know, the other side is also that I quite like is I wouldn't say week versus week, but Morgs, if you take a look at that Paarl League, the bottom six, you know, they've really had a bit of a rough time. There's such a big gap between the bottom team and the top team. Now those 6 bottom teams can come together, and they can also actually like spook it amongst each other without really getting, you know, 130 points against them, but still have a good rugby game.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's definitely a case of teams will be looking to see who they can beat in order to stay off the bottom 3, whether it be in the Super League A, B, and C. It's a case of staying off the bottom 3 to stay away from the playoffs, of playing potentially a team in Super League or in Super League B that may beat you. But it's like Coach Lionel says, you know, it's a case of a league within a league now. It's seeing if you're sitting at 7th or 8th, you know that you want to edge your way a little bit, sort of, you know, into that 5th or 4th place, and you've got to beat the teams that are below you. And at the moment, you can see the teams are starting to do that. I mean, anyone can beat anyone when it comes to the bottom 6 and the top sort of 8 or 9.
Yeah. All right, folks. Let's take a look now at the results in Super League B. A lot of action in Super League B over the weekend. Hands and Hearts going down to Solarians, 27 points to 6. Macassar, 24-15 over Young Peoples. Hamlets drawing with St. George's, 15-all. Brackenfell, 22-18 over Kraaifontein. And then Penel Villages, victory for them over Goodwood. Penel Villages coming away with a good win there. I know Goodwood would have been looking for a better result. The season hasn't been going quite as big, but stop-start for Goodwood. But Penel Villages coming out strong, and it looks like there's a lot of activity happening at Peniel Villages. The women's team is getting stronger, the clubs are playing better. So that's pretty good. I think a team that will be rather unhappy with a loss would have been St. George's playing against Hamlets. Lionel, jy het toe ons weer laas jaar gesien het, Kuilsrivier teen Hamlets gespeel. Hamlets, hulle het natuurlik home ground advantage gehad teen St. George's. Die St. George's ouens het die busse volgepak en uitgery. Ek gesien hulle het almal daar so saam getravel. Maar Hamlets is also getting stronger and stronger.
Hamlets is very difficult in Mamre. If you don't have the right game plan on the day, if your players are not mentally turned on, switch on, you can come second. Very easy.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit surprised with St. George's because they've got the momentum now. And that for me is a big setback for them.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the Hamlets guys with their back line. They've really got some flyers
Skillful
out there.
players, yeah.
Really great skills, yeah. Typical sort of Western Province rugby, run the ball.
Should be like that, eh?
Yeah, it should be, yeah. All right, folks, in Super League C, 21-17 for Paul over LCS Rivier United. Raithby Universals 42-3 over Eerste Rivier. And Langa 10-9 over Silverleaf. And then Franschhoek United 35-20 over Stellenbosch Coronations. Okay, so I've got a bit of a correction to make here on my side. Because Coach Lionel asked me before the game, was it a bit of a whitewash? And I said, no, I didn't really think so for the Raithby Eerste Rivier game because there was so much mud on the field. But only now do I really focus on the score. Lionel, you're quite correct. 42 points to 3. I mean, you know, when we were watching the game and we were filming the game and our cameraman Sadiq was getting his brand new Nikes full of mud on the side of the field there, you kind of lose track of the score. And now I look back and I see 42-3. Yeah, I'm quite surprised that the Eerste Rivier guys were still in such good spirits, but this is a Pakslaw.
I haven't seen the Rugby yet, JP, but I've seen a picture of them in a previous magazine of Cape TV. They look like a mature team, experienced, quite all these type of guys that's been together for a long time, and it's really playing for that community. And it's another fact that ordinary people can achieve more. I mean, if you put everything together, you can achieve a lot.
And I must say, I was super impressed with Raithby. We've kind of been hearing little stories via the grapevine of Raithby's got a new sponsor, or Raithby's working on the new stands and so on. And you know, one tends to, over the years, people have stereotyped clubs out there that some clubs are just kind of got nothing. But then you come out to Raithby, and I tell you something, the farmlands are beautiful, they've got a fantastic stadium, the sponsors are there on the side of the field, a super amount of pride. But I mean, one of the better stadiums that we've been to, apart from the field, quite frankly, I don't know if they should have played on that field because to repair the grass, but definitely getting stronger and stronger and stronger in Super League C, and 42-3 win for them. Anyway, folks, let's catch up with some of the highlights. And you can gauge for yourself what the match looked like between Raithby and Eerste Rivier. That was, of course, also pretty much a derby match. Teams close together, but unfortunately, Eerste Rivier has been struggling a little bit. Let's see what happened on the day.
High tackle, sir. High tackle.
I must say that was very cool. Thank you very much to the folks at Rugby for having us there on the day. Always, well, it's our first time, so it was a real pleasure to be out there. I think you guys are doing a fantastic job, and we know that you've got some sponsors that are knocking on the doors there. So hopefully Toyota will come on board and give you a whole lot of money, as well as the energy drink. So Dick, what's that energy drink called? Anyway, we've got a 6-pack of energy drinks, and we'll get you the name because the sponsor was kindly supporting Rugby on the day, as was Castle Lager with the gazebo. So once again, we see the administrators really coming to the party in terms of getting the clubs up there and doing things. Lionel, let's ask you a little bit from a Kelsriver point of view. We've seen that same sort of activity over the last few years with Belva Autoglass coming into the picture, and then the guys, I think Grant Albertine and the guys doing a lot of work behind the scenes to get it right. And Kelsriver's got a similar sort of setup. Exactly. With the lekker stadium, there's a nice change rooms, there's a good little function room. It's lekker.
So I think it's important that you keep your main source, which is your community, happy and behind the team, because without them, it's a zero. And sponsorships is also it's like gold. If you don't have sponsorships, no matter how big or small, it's important to have it on board and see it as an extra boost for the players going forward, because it's a big struggle out there without finance and sponsorships for the clubs to survive.
No more free handouts in the world today.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah. Not at all. And you can see if you only pay your match fee for your first team, your second and third are but demotivated. They don't come to practice. There's nothing out for us or whatever.
Yeah, and it's also interesting to see how local sponsors around the clubs get involved with the club. I mean, Belleville Autoglass at Kelsriver are clearly one of the local guys. Now, I don't know how much glass they sell to the players, but I would imagine not too much. So it's really about local people supporting local community activities.
Yeah, it's give and take. It's give and take, and it's such a small, close and close-based community at Kelsriver, and it's only good for the club to have our guys on board.
Yeah. All right, folks. Let's take a look now and see what the losing coach, A.B. Klein of Eerste Rivier, had to say, and we also managed to catch up with the losing captain. We'll speak to Goodwill Jooste in a second or so, but let's speak to A.B. Klein.
Bezig om redelijk goed te doen op die log, maar dit is derby dag vandag. Rugby teen Eerste Rivier en saam met nou is die afrigter van Eerste Rivier, A.B. Klein. A.B., bietjie modderig vandag. Het jy julle pad toe geloop hier?
Het JP wel, dit was 'n bietjie modderig, is 'n bietjie moeilike omstandighede. Dit is altyd moeilik om onder sulke omstandighede te speel. As ek sê, dit was vir al twee spanne nadelig. Rugby natuurlik hulle kanse beter benut as ons. So baie geluk aan hulle en mag dit baie goed gaan met hulle vorentoe. Ons het 'n rugbyles geleer by hulle om 80 minute te speel en nie net 60 nie.
Want dis soos jy sê, want in die begin van die eerste helfte lyk my julle het bietjie momentum gebou en dan verloor, en bietjie weer momentum gebou en dan weer verloor, en daai momentum spasies is amper daar waar hulle die opportunities gevat het.
Nee, 100%. Ek stem met jou saam. Hulle, soos ek gesê het, hulle geleenthede beter benut as wat ons in benut het. Yes.
Anyway, luister, best of luck for the rest of the season. Eerste Rivier se fans is almal hier so, like baie wel hulle geniet die rugby, one way or the other.
Ja, absoluut. Baie dankie.
Dankie, Abby.
As wat jy sê.
A.B. Klein, the coach of Macassar, at least Eerste Rivier, didn't go their way. I can understand him looking a little bit down in the dumps, but still an incredible amount of fans from Eerste Rivier who drove across the block to, so to speak, across the N2 to come and watch the match. And so A.B., chin up. You've got a lot of supporters there. Let's catch up now with Goodwill Jooste. He's the coach, at least the captain of Eerste Rivier.
Mense saam met my nou is die kaptein van Eerste Rivier. Het jy hulle gaan pad toe gegaan vandag hier Gatwell?
Ja, ons het 'n bietjie gesukkel vandag en Rugby is 'n goeie span en ons het gekom hier. Maar op die einde van die dag was hulle beter as ons.
Wat sou jy sê was die groot verskil vandag tussen Rugby en Eerste Rivier? Ek meen, die fans is hier so gelyk op.
Ek dink die struktuur Eerste Rivier ek dink Rugby se struktuur was beter as ons en ek dink hulle was sterker as ons agterlangs.
Daar's nog 'n paar games oor in die seisoen vir julle. Wat gaan julle nou doen? Soort van terug na die drawing board? Waarna sal julle kyk?
Ons is positief man. Ons is positief omdat ons gaan bly en ons hoop en vertrou dat ons gaan bly. Ons is positief.
Spelers positief?
Spelers is positief en ons supporters.
Gatwell, best of luck vir die res van die season.
Dankie JP.
So it doesn't always go your way. Lionel, we interviewed you when it didn't go your way in the opening game of the season. How difficult is it to stand in front of a microphone and you've got JP Naudé in your face, and you know that you have to be there because your sponsors are asking you to be there. Sometimes it doesn't go your way, but one sucks it up and gets in front of the microphone.
JP, I think it's part of the package. You've got to face the reality, and it happened in front of you. And everybody so you've got to face it and move on.
But the thing though is, win or lose, your sponsor was still on TV because you came on, even if with the loss.
And he still got his exposure.
Still got his exposure. Yeah.
He's still there today.
And he's still there today. And that's exactly what you're looking for. Win or lose, you make sure that you get your club and your face on camera. So hopefully the sponsors will come out and put things like this on your jersey and so forth. All right, we did manage to speak to the guys that had a slightly bigger smile on their face. Of course, Rugby Universals were extremely happy with the result today. We catch up there now with the winning coach, Jeremy Jansen.
Right mense, hier so by Rugby. Dis finally time dat ons hier uitkom. Great dag vandag. Derby match, Rugby teen Eerste Rivier. Saam met nou is die afrigter van Rugby, Jeremy Jansen. Jeremy, goeie wen vir julle vandag.
Ja, definitief 'n goeie wen. Ons het geweet die druk gaan kom in die eerste helfte, maar ons moet net bybly by ons gameplan en in die tweede helfte het makliker gegaan.
Die hele seisoen was vir julle eintlik 'n goeie seisoen en ons het al gesien van laas jaar af dat daar's 'n goeie positive vibe hierso by Rugby. Die fans is agter julle. Het julle daai momentum gebruik van laas jaar om hierdie jaar in toe te kom?
Ja, ek was hier verlede jaar hier by Rugby wat by St. George's, maar die laaste 2 jaar was daar baie inconsistency in die klub. Dis net 'n kwessie van hy consistency reg kry. Die jaar discipline, respek en commitment, dit is hoekom ons hier is wat ons is.
Is daar die sterkpunte, discipline, respek en commitment?
Ja, dis 'n sterkpunte.
Enige swakpunte?
Swakpunte, decision making oor die algemeen, maar ons kom daar as 'n work in progress.
Jeremy, weer eens wel gedaan. Julle stap vandag weg met die met die accolades.
Ja, dankie.
Jeremy, having moved across from St. George's there, do you think there's going to be a bit of negativity from other clubs for him or any other coaches? How difficult is it to move from one club to another club? You've done it yourself.
Yeah, I've been involved with the ins and outs. I moved to Brackenfell and at Kells River. You move on, JP, if you want to further your career or you want, it's about challenges.
Yeah.
It's about challenges and I love challenge myself and take on clubs that's been rock bottom and push them here and improve their rugby. So it's all about challenges and accepting it and then move on.
Just the first couple of games at the Oaks are moaning a little bit. After that, they move on.
I've had my few share at the ins and outs.
Hulle het jou seker gekou ne.
Been hectic there, yeah.
Right, lots of passion in the game there. The winning captain, of course, Rashad Williams. Let's catch up with him.
Mense saam met my is Rashad Williams, hy's die kaptein van Rugby. Baie trotse man vandag.
Om te begin, wil ek baie dankie sê vir ons spectators.
Ja.
Hulle is loyaal, dwars deur die jaar en vir my manne. Ons het nou al 10 ons werk baie hard en ek wil ook baie dankie sê elke week, Rient of the Noord, ons is hier so voltaal. Baie dankie guys en baie dankie dat julle ook vandag uitgekom het.
Was daar enige jy weet derby matches kan mos enige pad gaan. Was daar enige doubt in die week in julle minds sou hierdie game met Eerste Rivier miskien was julle net bietjie meer versigtig?
Ja, aan die begin As mens daar is altyd so, as hard, eerste 10, 30 minute, maar na daai bar is die wel altyd, maar ek het geweet, my manne, ons is positief, ons is span van liefde, ons gees is iets wat van 'n ander aard. So, ek het geweet, my manne gaan deurkom in 'n big bang en ons het hulle gemors. Ek het niks sien hulle nie, maar ek het geweet ons gaan hulle mors.
Goeie game vir julle, net gou-gou. Dit was 'n goeie seisoen ook vir julle en die seisoen is nog nie klaar nie. Sterkpunte, swakpunte.
Man, ons het die week baie in ons defense en ons cleaning gewerk. So, die boys maak ons baie bietjie edgy, so ons werk baie in ons cleaning en ons defense. Maar die manne gaan aan top afkom. Soos die leser ook sê, to be on top. Ons is daar.
That's right, well done. Goeie spot, man.
Hello everybody, welcome back. Yes, Cape Rugby TV it is, and good result then for Rugby Universals. Well done, guys. Okay, so Evox Advanced Nutrition is the official sports nutrition supplier to West Bronze Rugby and the DHL Stormers. Now, if you want to win for yourself a bucket of solid mass, all right, the solid mass 5 kilograms as is used by the DHL Stormers and the Western Province Rugby players and Western Province Club Rugby players. After the break, you're going to have an opportunity to see who the man of the match was from Rugby, and he also walks away with an Evox Advanced Nutrition bucket of a solid mass, 5 kilos, up for grabs. Get your cell phones handy now. We'll put you in the mix to put your this bucket in your hands. We'll be back after the break. Wednesday nights, Cape Rugby TV brings you the very best of club rugby, and of course we try and give every club out there a mention in one way, shape or form. In other words, either we mention your names in the logs, in the results, or in the fixture, or we try and interview you, or we try to get a game, or we try to get your jersey up on the show. Somewhere along the line, our policy is that somewhere we just mention your club's name. All right, folks, of course, the man of the match at Rugby, when they took on Epsiode over the weekend, and they came out with a monster win over Epsiode, the man of the match, walking away with the Evox Advanced Nutrition bucket of solid mass, is Wayne Onker. Let's catch up with him.
Right, folks, as you know, every week we have an Evox Advanced Nutrition man of the match at a club rugby game. Evox Advanced Nutrition is, of course, the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. And this week at Rugby, the Evox man of the match is the scrum half Wayne Onker. Wayne, congratulations, meneer. Jy is vandag se Evox man of the match. Lyk my jy dan baie fans hierso.
Ja, jy kan sê, jy kan sien die spirit hierso. As electrifying, ons fans, ons bestuur, die players almal, dan kom we net dankie sê vir hulle. En moet sê almal verdien om man of the match te gewees het vandag, maar ek het gedoen vir die bits hierso, Rugby Universals en het is seker, ek het nog nooit die gevoel gehad soos ek hierdie season van die begin af, het begin met die pre-season tot nou toe. Die spirit is goed en dankie aan almal wat hier gewees het.
Lyk my dat. Okay, wel van Evox se kant af. Jy wen vir jouself 'n 5 kg solid mes. Daai is vir jou meneer. Weer eens wel gedaan. Jy is vandag se Evox man of the match. Daai 5 kg kan jy maar doen met waarmee jy wil. Sal 'n bietjie spiere opsit, maar ek sien jy het genoeg spiere daarso. So 'n paar ekstra spiere gaan ook help.
Net so ja. Baie dankie daarvoor. En dankie almal wat hier is.
Here we go, folks. Our Evox Advanced Nutrition man of the match. We'll see you again after the break.
Evox Advanced Nutrition is the official sports nutrition supplier to West Bronze Rugby and the DHL Stormers. So, if you want to win for yourself the bucket of solid mass, 5 kilograms, up for grabs, cell phones handy it is. And remember, all club rugby players are entitled to sponsorship rates. All right, so if you're a club rugby player, especially now, while you need to keep that weight on as you start moving towards the end of the season when it becomes so tough. And it's also, especially if you're having a bit of a break right now, you need to be stocking up your protein. Extremely, extremely important if you're going to keep your muscle mass as high as possible. So club rugby players, go to the Western Province Club Rugby website, and on the front there's a banner. You click on that and you'll be able to get in touch with the guys from Evox Advanced Nutrition and get your special rates from Evox. So all club rugby players can go directly to the factory, so to speak. All right, we see it on the screen right now. Just tell us who is the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. SMS the answer to 33280 and you can win yourself a 5 kilogram Evox solid mass. Congratulations to last week's winner, Ashley Riffle. Ashley, you walk away with a 5 kilo bucket of solid mass and it's on its way to you. Congratulations, Ashley, in the mix there. All right, in the Paarl region, the weekend results then. Lower Paarl 40-20 over Allendale. Young Standards 33-21 over the Paarl Rangers. And then in Paarl B, Albion's 18-5 over Young Gardens, and Simonium 45-22 over Peril United. Okay, folks, now here's where we see the first time the kind of the bottom half, top half kind of strength versus strength, if you want to call it that, Morgs. You were referring to this earlier on. And of course, the PAL League, there's no relegation or promotion, so they don't have to worry about bottom 3 and top 3, but they want to make sure that they're doing well in their top 6, where in the bottom 6 you can come out as the winner of the bottom 6, in other words, the PAL B section, or you can come out as the winner of the PAL League before they do I think, their final knockouts. But we're already seeing things a little bit more settled here. If you look at Simonium and Peril United. Peril United, I think at the beginning of the year, took 130 points against Lower Paarl. And here we have a bit of a closer matchup, 45-22. They did lose, Peril United, but still, it was a nice match for them to have a score like that.
Yeah, I think that was expected. I think like you said, like you just rightly said, I think we expect to see a lot closer games now. And yeah, I mean, Peril United are a team that has taken 100 in the past. And to go, I mean, go and score 22 points, only concede 44. It's not the biggest result. It's not the biggest losing margin that they would have ever played in. So I think, and from that they'll maybe take a little bit of confidence, and into the next game, you never know. They'll pick up 1 or 2 results, and then all of a sudden they could win their little league within the league. Their PAL Region B division, if you want to call it that.
I mean, there's quite a bit. Lionel, there's quite a lot to be said for pride in rugby. And you can find pride in rugby in all sorts of places. You can find pride in rugby being number 1 of the bottom 6. That's quite a lot to walk away with. Whereas you could have ended up being number 6 and nothing.
Yeah, especially in that region, it's about breaking rights, and they play each other so much, and they know each other so much, JP. That it's all about being part of a system in PAL that's successful. And no matter how low they play in what league they play in Western Province, for them it's an achievement to be part of a top 6 or a top 3 or whatever. So
bring Jurgie into the picture. Jy het nogal 'n baie klub rugby in jou tyd gespeel. Jy het by Rosenburg gespeel, jy het vir Helderberg gespeel, jy het by Hammies gespeel. Ek meen daar's obviously heelwat tye daarso, en jy's die kaptein van Hammies. Dit is nogal belangrik om daai tipe trots in die span te kan kry. Anders dan gaan jy aansloor.
Kyk, enige span wat jy speel, het jy trots. Vir al die area waar jy speel. In die Boland is daar natuurlik 'n groot trots. Maak nie saak in watter liga jy speel nie. Tussen clubs is altyd die derby trots. Vir alles ons in dieselfde dorp is, of as dit van dieselfde streek afkom. Maar op die einde van die dag gaan dit oor dit wat jy doen in jou klub, hoe hard jy werk en waarvoor jy werk. Of dit is om relegation nie gerelegeerd te word, of dit is om die liga te wen. Maak nie saak wat jou visie is. Elke klub het in die begin van die jaar het hy sy goal settings, en dit maak dit belangrik sodat jy as 'n span kan saamwerk vir 'n common goal. Ek dink die spelers werk hard vir dit, en nie net vir die span vir mekaar nie, maar vir die coach, vir die borge het ons oor gepraat vandag, en ook vir die mense wat jou ondersteun. Ek bedoel, daar's die spectators is op die einde van die dag 'n baie groot rol van elke klub of van enige klub.
Right, folks, in the Simonsburg region, it was Blue Stars against Foran. To be honest, I'm not sure if this game took place, because it was 15-0 against for Blue Stars against Foran. Pumas 15-0 against Lamont. Now, that looks to me more like a team that didn't pitch up and got 5 points, or at least was given it according to the scoring system. But nevertheless, Constantia 17-5 over Lawandley. And then in the Women's League, Busy Bees drawing with Milnerton Ladies 10-all, and then UWC Ladies losing to Peniel Ladies. Now, that's a bit of a surprise factor. I think the Peniel Ladies, as I said earlier on, the Peniel Ladies team is getting stronger and stronger. They really are starting to deliver some quality players out of the women's section. All right, so folks, talking about the section and where we are now with the new structures. Last week we went out to go and find the draw. Now you remember at the beginning of the year we of course did the draw for the various teams and where they would be in terms of the league structures because of the tournament format. Now that we've got to the end of, in other words, in the Southern League, the Northern League, and the City League, where the teams have all played their 10 games now. Now they know who's in what position. Now they move into the next phase. Now it's at this stage that the administrators have to consider who plays their home fixtures first. Now that was what the draw was really all about. So essentially now the top three from Super League A, Southern League, Northern League and City League, the top three there will go into a 9-team knockout, and that's what the draw was for. And then the 8 teams in the bottom of each one of those leagues will also go into what's called the top 8 knockout, as similar to what you'll have later in the Super League A, B, and C, which will be the top 6. Now remember, when we talk about top 6 or top 8, that is of course 8 teams per league, if that explains it to you. So essentially you have 24 teams playing. Remember, those 8 teams will still play in their own league against each other. The 9 teams will play against each other, and they will come from all 3 different leagues. So we went to the draw last week just to see who's going to end up where, and we'll talk about that in a second. Let's catch up with the guys.
So we're back. It's the first year of this different format. Mr. Faisal Felton, who will happily guide us through some of these structures. But it is that time now. You've each played your 10 games, and it's now a fresh canvas, so to speak, to see who's going to play against who. So we've got the pot. There's some balls in there, the ping pong balls, in the same way that we did last time. And of course, it is the draw: City League, Southern League, Northern League.
The top 3 teams in the City League, the Southern League, and the Northern League. Okay, those teams will now compete for promotion. So those 8 teams that's remaining, they will now compete in a top 8 competition. Totally new competition. It's a new competition which gives the guys something else to play for in that.
Do you want to guide us through the process on the draw?
Yeah, I think we'll start off with the Southern region.
Titans, position 1. Young Brothers, position number 7. Number 4 for Young Stars, position 4. Lagunya, position 9. Position 1. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your draw. Those are your games. Right, folks, I'm here at Sports Science Institute, Western Province Rugby. We just had to do the draw for the new league. And with me is Johan Arends from Rocklands. Johan, exciting stuff?
Yes, very excited, very excited.
And you know who you're playing first, or how does it work now?
Yeah, we know. We play Titans first,
okay,
at home, and in the first round we also play them home.
So are you in the top 9, or you?
No, we're at the bottom,
okay,
but
so
we ended 4th place.
You ended 4th
we
place.
just missed with 1 point against Young Wesley.
So you could be the winner in the top 8. Then.
We could, and we're going to strive to be the winner of the top 8.
Exciting stuff.
Yes,
Good luck.
very. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Right, so now the rules of engagement have been established of the top 9 and the top 8. Remember, the top 9 across all 3, and then the top 8, which is 8 teams in each league, and they'll be playing it out to see who comes out in the top 4 promotion to Super League C. We'll tell you more about that after the break. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, Cape Rugby TV does. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV, and you absolutely must share your scores on a Saturday, so everybody else wants to know what's going on. We had so many requests on the weekend for people to ask us to ask the fans to share their scores, because nobody wants to be waiting until Monday and Tuesday to see what the scores were in the other leagues. And today, with social media, you can all share. So remember, on Twitter and on Facebook, at Cape Rugby TV, or on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. Share those scores. Okay, so there you have it now. Super League C is what the Southern, City and Northern leagues are going to be playing for. The top 3 teams out of the top 9 are now playing against each other. They've done their draw for their home ground fixtures, and they'll be looking to get promoted into the Super League C division. Lionel, how important is it for these guys now? Now we're ready to get into a knockout phase here. Again, you've only got 1 chance against each team. You've got to take what you get. And if you don't take it with both hands, you could miss out.
Could miss out big time. And it's only the first teams that's playing, eh? So you don't have any excuse. So you've got a lot of depth that you can use, if I can say it that way. And it's all up for grabs.
But do you have a lot of depth? I mean, do you think that the second team guys
what I'm saying, it's only the first teams that's gonna contest that playoffs.
Yeah.
So you still have your seconds that you can load your first team. How many games are they gonna play?
8 games. They will play 8 games. Yeah.
So you can depend on your second team to really give you a boost.
But that's my question: is do you think that the second team guys are all going to be coming to practice while they don't have any games?
It depends on a coach. It depends on the management. What criteria they put out there for the players. So or incentive there's for the players. I mean, there's a lot to play for. So they need to involve the seconds and the thirds to get a support base for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's at a time like this that one has to be very careful as a club that you don't lose your fans, you don't lose your players who have been there during the season to carry you through the season. You get to a time now where there's only one team playing. It's interesting that you mentioned that, because it now comes down to the coach actually having, because we often see coaches who only play to win, and they don't think about the longevity or sustainability of the club, making it more exciting for the players to come. So it's interesting that you mentioned that coaches now in this league are probably going to have to think a little bit broader than just match day.
Yeah, it's important, JP, that the coach doesn't be the mainstay of everything and be he mustn't become important or become bigger than the game itself. He needs to look at the bigger picture and the longevity of the club itself.
Yeah.
So if I'm that coach, I would really make use of my second.
And how would you do that? What would you do? I mean, things like this, you can come up with braaiplaces and.
Especially in your training sessions, you can have like competitive games. You can have opposition. You can have really play games within a game with the first and second teams, and have like internal trials again. So people lose form, and by having that type of setup for this knockout stages, you can have trials within your club.
Do you think that the coaches are going to rotate players a little bit during this time?
They need to. You need to get the best on the field at all time. Your core players needs to be on the field at all time, and you've got to preserve their energy or their bodies, if you can call it that way.
Yeah, Morgs, you've played quite a lot of professional rugby in your time. There's a number of, and at that stage already, going all the way back to when you were playing professional rugby, there were a lot of strategic thinking, and where the coach had to at times rest the sharp guys and bring in guys off the bench and play them a little bit so that he can get through the season.
Yeah, look, for a long time I was part of the MPS, what we call it in the professional. It's the non-playing squad. For a long time I was part of that group, and it is an extremely difficult dynamic in a team, because as important as the NPS are to the starting 22 that are going to take the field, as detrimental they can be too by bringing down the camaraderie of the starting 15 if they have a bad attitude. So luckily I was involved in an environment where it was a case of, there was, you knew you had Monday, Tuesday, you trained as hard as you could. You did contact sessions. Coach Lionel will probably tell you, you do your contact sessions, you get these things out of the way, because that's where guys play for their places. If you can create a nice competitive environment where you know that on a Monday and a Tuesday, if you blixem your opposite number enough to make a statement, and you can get into the mix, that is creating a culture where if you can do that on a Monday or a Tuesday, then I can tell you for sure he's going to do it on a Saturday when he's playing against guys who are not even his friends, or not even, wearing a different jersey to the one you were wearing at practice. So it is a tough dynamic, but I think it's important for coaches to create an environment where everyone knows he's got a chance. Nobody's too big. I think that's what we've got nicely at in teams that I've played in, or at Hamilton's right now, is that nobody's too big for the jersey. No one's a guaranteed name on the team sheet. Mondays and Tuesdays, you train for that to make sure that your name is put down in whatever jersey you want to play in.
Yeah, Yechia, let's bring you into this. It's interesting. There's been a few times that he's put on the captain's band over the season. I don't know if that's out of injury or out of strategic smartness, or what are you guys doing there? But one way or the other, I'm sure there are times that one has to rest and it can sting a bit, but you've got that camaraderie, as Morgan was saying, that it could easily go against you, but certainly in your case it hasn't.
Yeah, well, you should know that we play a lot of games during the season. Injuries are there. The players' bodies get a thumping every weekend, and the second team players are just as good as the first team players. There's and in certain clubs you've got such amount of depth that you can only pick 22 players. Yeah. So what Morgan says is true, to keep the the second team and even some of the third team players to keep them happy and keep them motivated, to give them the opportunity. And especially there's more difficult games that you get, and there's games that's a little bit easier, and that's the coach's own point of view, who wants to play in that game. And team selection also is a lot to do with the game that you play. If you need a deck that's a little bit more mobile, or you need a centipede that's got to take it up more in the middle, or flare at the back, that's the coach's choice. So just on that, you've got to manage your players in a sensible way.
But now, Lionel, let's bring you back into the picture, because it just occurred to me also that this is a perfect opportunity for the first team coach to actually extend the size of his management team, because he can keep also now the second team coach involved.
Yeah, and going forward for the next season, you've got to keep everybody happy, JP. You've got to keep everybody on board, because you don't know everything.
Yeah.
And you're just as good as your last game as player and as coach, because there comes a time when everything just shut off, and then the second team or third team coach will mention something that you didn't think of. Yeah. And that might be purposeful for your main team going forward. So it's important to keep everybody on board and on the same track.
Yeah. All right, folks. So there you have it. Those top 8 and top 9, or at least top 6, if you want to call it that now. But it's the top 9, which will then end up in the top 3 that goes into Super League C. So there's going to be 8 games played in the top 9 for Southern City and Northern Leagues, and it's going to be very interesting to see how coaches manage this process, because certainly it's not going to be just one team running in the park and that the seconds and the thirds are going to disappear. The coaches are the ones that are going to have to be very smart. Now you're going to have to think more than just one game at a time and just one team. You're going to have to think how you're going to strategize your way through the whole process. So if you're a coach out there with a bad attitude and you don't know how to look after your players, you're going to suffer severely. This is the time that you need to put a smile on and create every form of activity to make sure all those players keep coming back to practice sessions to back you up as your first team. We'll take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the logs, and then, of course, we'll take a look at the fixtures coming up this weekend. Remember, this weekend we're going to Hands and Hearts against Brackenfell. Back in a sec. So probably one of the bigger league fixtures this weekend, and now that the students are back, is Super League A. And we're going to take a closer look at the top 9 in a second. Let's take a look here at Super League A. Most of the games this weekend in Super League A. So those are the fixtures, but let's just go to the logs. If we look at the logs here in Super League A, you see Hamilton's, False Bay, UCT, Stellenbosch, Belhar, SK Warmers. Those are back in the mix now. Helderberg in 7th place. They managed to hang in there a little bit. Vix has still got a whole lot of games in hands. They're in 8th place. Durbell, still a lot of games in hands, also on 9th place, then followed by Primrose, UWC, Tigerberg, Kalsriver, Belleville, and NNK. In Super League B, Silurians, Villages, St. George's, and Milnerton are your top 4 teams, while in Super League C, Wraithby Universals, and you can see why it is that they show strong, are on 46 points. They've played 10 games. They've won 10 games with a 100% strike rate. That means that they are up there with one of the best coaches in Western Province, considering that that coach has a 100% strike rate. Now, folks, we get an opportunity to look at the top 3 in the City, Southern, and Northern League. So this is going to create your top 9. So in the City League, going through into the top 9, it's Young Stars, Caledonian Roses, Hamadias. It's Masi Pumalele, Laguna, and Young Wesley's in the Southern League. And then in the Northern League, it's Blue Jets, Clutisville, and Blue Stars United. Right, in the Paarl League, in the top there, we see it's Lower Paarl, Young Standards, and Violets. Those are your top 3 teams. And then the bottom 6 in the Paarl B region, Simondium, Young Gardens, and Riverstone. So then, of course, in the Simonsburg League, Pumas, Excelsior, and Fora are your top 3 teams. All right, so those are your logs as they stand. Fixtures coming up over the weekend, very exciting. And as I said, Super League A is up for grabs. Tigerberg take on UWC at Florida Park. UCT take on Belleville. Belhar and Stellenbosch. Durbell take on Helderberg. And False Bay take on NNK. And then Kalsriver are up against Vix. So one we haven't spotted there yet is Durban and Helderberg. In Super League B, it's St. George's and Peniel Villages. Scottsdene take on Young Peoples, Macassar, Goodwood, and Hands and Hearts in Brackenfell. That's our pick of the week, folks. Get down to that game. Come and join us as Hands and Hearts take on Brackenfell. It's going to be a derby match. We're expecting in excess of 5 to 6, maybe even 7,000 fans to come and watch Hands and Hearts take on Brackenfell. Quick one from you, Lionel. Lots of people expected Hands and Hearts Brackenfell derby match.
That should be a good one. Tend to lean towards Hands and Hearts. Home game advantage. Crowd behind them.
A lot of fans?
A lot of fans.
Well, give us a number, ballpark.
Number in terms of fans?
Yeah.
Look at 3.5 to 4.
3,500 to 4,000 fans expected at Hands and Hearts. Isn't that fantastic? All right, then in Super League C, Eersterivier take on Strand, Langa and Paul, Silverleaf, Wraithby, Van der Stel take on Stellenbosch Coronations, Noordlikers take on Franschhoek United. And in what's called the Champions League is Lagunya and Cludisville, Blue Stars and United take on Young Wesleys, and Blue Jets take on Masi Pumelele. That's also, of course, for promotion. While in the Paarl League, it's Allendale, Paarl Rangers, Violets and Paarl and Lower Paarl, Peril United take on Young Gardens, Riverstones and Simonium, Windmill United take on Albions. In the Simmelsburg region, Lewandley, Blue Stars, Kayamandi, Constantia, Visante Kral take on Languedoc, Fora take on Lamotte. Those are, of course, your fixtures over the weekend. Morgan Newman, thanks for joining us. Been good fun.
Thanks, good to be back on the show and good to have the cap here.
You guys are playing, yes?
Yeah, we're off this weekend. We've got UCT in Portman.
Yahya, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And Coach, when you guys get cracking, Dizers and the Emergings?
Emerging is busy. It's still a work in progress. It's going very slow this year. I'm actually a bit disappointed with the turnout of players. Players are not just pitching. I'm talking about for your first tier players at your club, that's your run-on players, that's your first choice players at the club. I don't want to work with players that's playing second team and third team. I think it's an insult to the emerging side.
But there's 100 first teams out there. They've each got 15 players. That puts you on 1,500 possible first team choices, and you're telling me the players are not coming to the trials, they're not coming to practice at the emerging team?
Yeah, we had trials, and the selectors nominated players that's first choice players at their clubs, and yet that first choice players don't pitch.
Okay, all right, so it's the same old problem where we continue to moan about our players can't get into Western Province, but yet the players don't come to practice with the emerging team. So you want to play for Western Province, we suggest that you go to the trials and then get yourself into the emerging team, and if you get into the emerging team, get off your backside if you want to play for Western Province, otherwise don't moan. Go and play there with Coach Lionel so you can go play for the emerging side, for the Dizers side, and get your shot at making it to play for Western Province, then for the Stormers, and then for Springboks. That's a wrap from us this weekend. We'll see you at Hands and Hearts as they take on Brackenfell. Be there or be square. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.